Hello and welcome to Failsafe Fitness Podcast, Season 2, Episode 29. My name is, as always, Michael Joshua, the owner and CEO of Failsafe Fitness Limited, Chief Programmer and General Dog's Body as well. Yes, I am a one-man show. If you've been listening to the show over the past few months, you will know the exact reason why you are here. If you are new to the show, thank you very much for joining and listening. Please like, subscribe and share. We are available on all major platforms thanks to the Acast Creator Network. Thank you very much. I also use Podcastle to edit this podcast. Sometimes not very well, but hey ho, that's the way it goes. That's just life in general. It never goes to plan. As you all know, the show is split into a couple of sections. They're short, sweet, and to the point. I don't tend to mince my words, but I've got quite a bit to get off my chest this week, so the normal 15 to 20 minute runtime may run into a little bit longer. So I hope you strap yourselves in and we'll crack into the show. So again, welcome to the show, folks. It's going to be an interesting one this week. There's a lot going on. So firstly, we're going to start off with my week. My week has been very interesting. There's been some ups, there's been some downs, and there's been a lot of emotion going on, particularly around the Ryder Cup, which I'll get into a little bit later on. I've played some good golf, I've played some bad golf. I've had some really good clients, and I've had a couple of terrible clients, to be honest. And the kind of personal trainer I am and the kind of golf coach I am, the kind of person I am, I don't want to feel like I'm wasting people's time. And I certainly don't want to feel like they're wasting mine. So this week's been, it's been a tough decision to tell some harsh truths to a couple of my clients from either side of the business that I run here. So I've had a client coming to me about 6 weeks for some personal training and nutrition. And I'm going to be honest, they've done nothing but bitch about I'm not losing any weight. I'm not seeing any inches drop. And first couple of weeks, it's going to take a while to get into. I mean, changing your lifestyle is not an overnight thing. You need to plan it out, and be patient. Small changes make big differences, etc., etc. From the list of things I did over the last 10 weeks or so, in terms of just changing a couple of things, one thing a week, couple of things a month, can all add up to massive calorie deficits and cutting your calorific intake, particularly in terms of fat and sugar. So, you get a couple of weeks in and you just think, oh, it's the usual, as you do as a personal trainer. It's the usual. It's what's going to happen. People don't tend to take things seriously, and blah 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 blah. Then we get to 4 weeks in and we do the first, we repeat some of the tests. Not all of the tests, but some of the tests. And as I'm going through the tests, the effort isn't kind of there. And, I ask the usual questions that I do with people who do tend to struggle from what they did the week before. Did you get any sleep? Have you eaten? Is there anything going on outside of your work and here that's got you a little bit under the weather? No, nothing, blah, blah, blah. Needle's not moving. So I said, okay, we're going to do these tests again in a couple of weeks. We'll do a session or two in between then, and then we'll repeat the tests. And I can clearly see when we're doing the tests for the second time. I normally test every 4 weeks. So I normally do an initial assessment, which takes about 90 minutes to 2 hours. We discuss food, nutrition. I get you to fill out a little document, a little form, a sort of a me to get to know you and you to get to know me while we're chatting along. And It's a compatibility thing more than anything else. And I thought the compatibility wasn't too bad, but small changes and big changes, they don't just come overnight. And 6 weeks is enough time to make a difference or to see if it's making a difference. But the effort clearly wasn't there, and I'm one of those people where I don't want to waste people's money or my time. So we go through, we do about 2 or 3 of the tests that we had planned, and I just go, look, okay, I'm honest. I'm honest with everybody who comes to me as a golf coach, as a nutrition and weight management advisor, as a personal trainer. My job is to make you feel comfortable, make you feel like you're making progress, and make sure that you make progress. And they'd made no progress. They got a little bit stronger in a couple of the tests, but they're just meandering along. And I knew from the diaries that I'd been sent in terms of the food that they're flat out lying. I've been doing this long enough now to know that someone's flat out lying to me. And I go, well, look, you've not lost any weight. You're not losing any inches. You've got a little bit stronger. You've built a little bit more muscle. I'm not going to waste your time or money, and I'm certainly not going to waste my time and your money if the effort's not there. And we don't get into a bit of a row, but it's one of those where I just go, I'm done. I think you need to go and deal with whatever you need to deal with, and either come back to me when you're a little bit more serious about making a change, or find someone else that's going to do something a different way. Whether that's go find a workout buddy and do it on your own, or find someone that's going to put up with your lies. And I actually said lies. I said, I can see from your food intake that you've repeated what you did from 2 weeks ago. And then 2 weeks before that. They're the same thing. I said, we're creatures of habit, but not creatures of absolute to the calorie and gram habit. Unless you're a super mega star training to do marathons, or you're an athlete of some kind. And the calories are too high, the fat's too high, the protein's too low. So you're not withholding anything, and you're probably sore for a couple of days, 3 days after you train with me. And they're like, yeah. And I that's just the way I am. And it's the same with the golf side. I've had a client that's been coming to me for a little while, and they've made some swing changes. They were getting a little bit better. They got a little bit worse. And I've just turned around and gone, I'm not going to waste any more of your money and time, and I'm certainly not going to waste any more of my time. We're clearly incompatible. I can't teach you to not do what you're doing. I've gone down a path. We've gone down another path. We went down another path. I've tried to get you to do bare basic, 70s, 80s and 90s bare basic position in golf to get you playing a little bit better. But you clearly don't want that. You want to just do the PGA Tour hero thing, smash it at 1,000 miles an hour, and think because it's going to go 300 yards that you're good at golf. And I can't do that. I can do that if I'm an honest person and an untrustworthy coach, and I can just stand there and take your money all day long and tell you you're doing well, and you just don't get any better. And that's not what I'm about. And so 2 people this week, I feel like I've let myself down by not being able to coach them efficiently enough to get them to realize that what they're doing is not for their best in terms of health and not for their best in terms of results. So, I've cost myself money this week, but I think that goes down to my integrity rather than morality. So yeah, it's been a tough week for me, and I'm sorry I've had to blab on about that for about 10 minutes. But yeah, that's uh, other half found out she got a job, then hadn't got a job, so that was great. She's turned down 2 jobs for this job, and many thanks to the team at Mighty. Well done. You should be proud of your work because you fire someone and then blame someone who didn't do the firing. So well done. Thanks. You're a great company. Well done. You're up there along with the Co-op and Tesco's in my book in terms of how you treat your staff, and yeah, well done. Fantastic. It's the whole reason why I'm working for myself now, because I can't be putting up with this corporate crap. But yeah, so that's been my week. It's been tough. It's been hard. I've cost myself a little bit of money, but money isn't everything. I like to have some integrity and pride in what I do, and I hope everybody out there understands that I am a solo businessman trying to start a business, and I should be cash grabbing as much as I can, but that's just not me. I'm not the greatest example in terms of fitness and nutrition over the last 3 years. Pandemic kind of killed me too, mentally and physically, and I know this winter is going to be tough, and getting back to reasonable kind of shape is going to be hard for me at my age, and I know the task that's ahead of me. So in the off golf season, I'm going to work hard, and I may or may not put it out on social media or YouTube of where I start, a couple of sessions live, and see where I go. But that's a future discussion. So we'll get into it then, shall we? Exercise of the week, whilst we're on the subject of exercise. So I mentioned last week that TRX training bands that you can get. They're just a set of straps, a bit like Olympic ring straps that get attached to. You've probably seen them in your gym if you've been to any modern gyms. Most of them have got them. So they're a great thing to get if you've got a door handle that you can hang them over, a closed door that closes, correctly. You can use these things on any door. A little bit expensive. There are some cheaper ones out there now, but I think TRX training is a fantastic way to go if you don't want to spend a fortune on gym equipment. I mean, dangling straps are in the gym. They're a multi-purpose piece of equipment. They can instantly increase intensity and decrease balance, making you work harder. It's a great suspension training is a great form of resistance strength training, and using the TRX system by moving your center of gravity in a way that to challenge yourself with your own body weight, whilst developing muscular strength and core stability. It's a very effective and efficient way of being able for you to move your own body weight more effectively without actually loading it with something that's stupidly heavy like a barbell or dumbbells or kettlebell. So if you do see the TRX, go and speak to a trainer in your gym or go and buy yourself a set if you've got a little setup at home. They're hugely beneficial. Things like balance lunges, chest presses, ring rows, inverted rows, knee tucks, reverse flies. You can do curls with them, you can do press ups on them in multiple ways. So your hands can be in the TRX system or your feet can be in the TRX system. So it's a great way of building core strength and just general all over body strength through that training system. So go and speak to people in the gym. Your personal trainers will know all about the TRX system. And if you see it free and the weights that you want to use aren't available, go use it. TRX it's been around a long while now. And I still don't see enough people utilize it often enough in the gym. nutrition is going to take a little bit of discussing this week. We're going to talk about the My Plate theory. Now, this is an American thing. It's also quite. I think it's quite relevant. We use something very similar in the UK, but the My Plate thing is basically is the food. Remember the food pyramid? Everybody knows the food pyramid, but the My Plate is a good visual reminder of how to make healthy choices from each of the five food groups. So 5 food groups obviously are fruits, vegetables, grains, proteins, and dairy. Obviously, this is for someone who's eating a lot and everything. They don't have much. They're not vegan. They're not vegetarian. Things like that. I mean, the My Plate does come in, but this is pretty much for someone who'll eat anything and everything. So the My Plate message is more about the benefits of healthy eating that add up over time. Bite by bite, small changes matter. And this is what I've just said to you about my 2 clients that were, fitness and weight loss, and then golf side of things. Small changes can make a big difference. And nutrition is the stable that holds us all up, because we don't eat enough carbs, we're low on energy, we don't eat enough protein, we don't maintain enough muscle, etc., etc. The body will just waste muscle. You see most bodybuilders from the 80s and 90s now, who haven't been in the gym for a decade. They look like me and you. The body can't just sustain that massive muscle without having the correct nutrition in its system. Like putting diesel in a petrol car, or vice versa. It's going to struggle and it's going to conk out and it's not going to work. So the idea is that the My Plate message, you've got fruits, vegetables, grains, proteins, and dairy. And under the fruits, make half your plate when you're eating fruits and vegetables. The fruit group includes all fruits, 100% fruit juices. Fruits may be fresh, frozen, canned, dried, dehydrated. Fruits can be eaten whole, cut up, pureed, or cooked. And at least half recommended amount of fruit should come from whole fruit rather than 100% fruit juice. They recommend a cup of fruit, half a cup of dried fruit, 1 cup of 100% fruit juice per day, and that's pretty good. And if you go to the myplate.gov, you can go and see all this. So toddlers need a half a cup to a cup, and kids up to 8 need 1 to 2 cups. Same for girls and boys. 2 to 2.5 cups up to the age of 18. And then grown adults are, again, 2 to 2.5 cups a day. And fruit's very important in terms of the risk of certain diseases and nutrients that they provide. Most fruits are low in sodium and low in calories, so you can fill up on fruits and vegetables to give you a better satiety and a better variety in your diet. Potassium, fiber, vitamin C, folate, they do give you some great health benefits. Lowering calories as well, and they have a lot of properties that are going to help you fight certain cancers and diseases. So yeah, give this a go. And the fruits, as I've said, a varied diet is very, very necessary. And the same with your vegetables. Half your plate when you're having your main meals should be vegetables. Canned, frozen, dried, whatever you want them to be, they should be added into your diet. They're organised into 5 little subgroups. So dark green, red, orange, peas and lentils, starchy and other vegetables. There's a lot of things going on with fruit and veg. That's why I like in the winter. Winter's now coming in the UK, so I like a nice stew. So I can throw some steak or some lamb in a stew, and I can have loads of different vegetables, onions, potatoes, carrot shots, all that in a big pot, just bubbling away, and the smell of it is fantastic. And it's a simple, easy, nutritious way to have a nice, healthy meal. And again, it's 3 to 4 cups a day for adults, and 1 to 2 cups for kids. If you can get that into somebody, low fat, high fiber, again rich in nutrients. The more colours, the better. Eat the rainbow is what I tell my clients, and the My Plate system is exactly the same. Making part of your meals whole grains as well, so wheat, rice, oatmeal, cornmeal, barley, they're all superb in terms of giving you health benefits. The amount of grains that you need can depend on your age, your sex, your weight, and physical activity. Um, Few people, this is something I mentioned fiber a couple of weeks ago, and fiber in a diet helps you, pass things easier. Soluble, non-soluble fiber is great to have in your diet, and by adding some whole grain into your diet, you'll see some definitely physiological changes in the way you go to the toilet and things like that. So adding grains into your diet is very, very important. They contain B vitamins and minerals, magnesium, iron. They help reduce blood cholesterol levels. So if you're diabetic, adding more grains into your diet is very, very important, especially satiety. And they help lower heart disease. So, add some grains into your diet, folks. Add some extra fiber into your diet. You will see a big difference. Protein, well, we'd all discussed protein. So beans, peas, lentils, things like that. Nuts, seeds, eggs, meat, seafood, and poultry. And I think if you get one of each of those a week, I think you're on the right track to being a decent at controlling your diet. And I see the people that do eat a lot of fruit and veg, and they eat a lot of variety of food. And I don't just mean like I have a Chinese, an Indian, and a pizza and a kebab on a Friday night. I mean the people that actually eat meals, that cook food, um, tend to have don't tend to need adjusting. They need a little bit, mainly fiber. So switching out pasta and breads for whole grain and wholemeal make a big difference. And again, increasing with that, the body needs these nutrients like B vitamins, vitamin E, zinc, magnesium are all great for sleep and recovery. And if you don't get them in, you can have deficiencies which can lead to poor recovery in the gym, poor exercise, and just feeling pretty crap in general. And obviously dairy is very, low fat dairy is obviously recommended, but it's full of calcium, AD and B12, protein, zinc, and magnesium again. Dairy is a very important and essential part of your diet, especially if you're in the gym working out. And the My Plate theory has, good points. Go take a look at it. 3 cups of dairy a day is pretty reasonable. I think everyone can do that, especially if you have 2 protein shakes, you're done. Or 1, you're pretty much done. But it's a great little theory. It's half your plate should be fruit and veg, half should be there, half should be whole grains. Then you've got your meat and veg and your dairy. I think it's an interesting theory. So go take a look at it. There are some interesting theories on diets, but I think this is one of the simplest ways and simplest little reminders of what you should be doing when you're eating. And nutrition can be very, very difficult, especially in the days where companies like Belvita are telling you should eat our cookies for breakfast. Don't worry about getting your protein in. Just have some high sugar, high whole grain. And by the time 10 o'clock rolls around, you'll be starving and you'll be hyper as hell. And this is the world we live in. Everybody, there's a biscuit, there's a pill for that. There isn't. You need to plan, you need to prep, you need to execute. And if you don't do those things, and it's the same with golf and it's the same in the gym, but if you don't plan, prep and execute in food, you'll end up like me, who has a very bad relationship with it, who can be very good and very bad at a flip as a switch. Something annoys me, I'll be eating. Something doesn't annoy me or something annoys me, I don't eat. Stress has a massive effect on your body, so lowering your stress levels like I did by starting this business and this podcast and putting my thoughts out into the world does help. But if your relationship with food is anything like mine, then getting someone like me on board is going to help you to control and have mindfulness over what you do. And I think something like the My Plate information and diet can help just stabilize what you're doing without actually derailing everything. But small changes make big things. And if nutrition, go take a look at the My Plate. You may find some information that's useful on there. I certainly think it's a good idea. So that's your nutrition tip for this week. Talking about the business. My blog, at some point this week, I am going to be putting up my top 10 ways to improve your golf. Top 10 should do's. So my top 10 tips to good golf is going to be up. I've got to write it yet. There's a couple of things I'm umming and ahhing about putting in. One of them is going to be the tip you're going to be getting next. So yeah, it may be, there may be a bonus or a tip or two in there. I haven't decided just yet. But if you do want to take a look at the blog, the link is in the description below. And also don't forget, if you are a client, a golf performance client of mine, Sunday 15th of October 11 a.m. Please reply to the messages that have been sent out. So email and text messages have been sent. All I need is a simple yes or no to client day as a response, and I will book you in. We're going to play teams of 3. There's going to be a main prize for the winner. There's going to be a prize for the winning team. Team format will take on the teams of 3 will play the hole. The best score from each team, there's going to be a singles format. So the one A, B, and C, column A, B, and C players, you'll write your individual scores down. And then the best score from those 3 scores will go into column D, which will go towards your team score. So the best team score and then the best individual score will get some prizes. And I'm dead excited. £15. That includes a meal, something to eat and drink, and your 9 holes of golf. I hope to see you all there. And speaking of playing golf, coming very, very shortly, it's going to be the weekend after that. So starting the I'm going to say the 24th of October, for a 3-week period, trial period, every Saturday, 10 a.m. till 3 p.m., you'll be able to book out the launch monitor system that I have. Himley Hall Golf Centre, it's going to cost £20 an hour. So if you're a 4-ball, that's £5 each. If you're a single ball, it's just 20 quid for you. So you can either bring some friends. We're opening it up. There are going to be 4 golf courses available to play. One of them is going to be St Andrew's Old Course. The other one is going to be Royal Lytham and St Anne's. The third one is going to be Royal Troon. And the fourth one is going to be this year's open venue at Royal Liverpool. So there's going to be 3 weeks. There's 4 courses available. If you do want to book in, please use the link in the description. So you can book yourself an hour. You can either pay on your own or you can pay with your friends. Payment is up front and only online. It can be booked in person if you do ring me. Again, all the links are in the description. So £20 an hour, and you'll get to play for an hour on virtual rounds of 4 of the best open courses in the country at Himley Hall Golf Centre with me as your host. And like I say, as we're talking about golf, let's talk about the Ryder Cup. Now, as I'm recording this is the Saturday evening of the second day. And something happened on that last green. Joe LaCava's waving his hat around, and, Cantlay's just hold a putt to potentially give them the win. And as a European, my opinions are a little bit more opinionated towards the European side. But Joe LaCava, as we know, is Tiger Woods' caddy. And he's waving his hat around, and Rory's asked him to, move out of the way. I've got a putt to hole. And Joe LaCava's still chatting in his ear, about 5-6 feet away. And then he turns round and very expletive language, something along the lines of, like, go fuck yourself happens. Obviously, Rory misses that putt, and the USA have won that session 3-1 and closed the gap a little bit. Europe just requiring 4 points. And then a little bit later on, about 10-15 minutes after it's all finished, half an hour or so, Rory's seen going at Bones, which is Justin Thomas's caddy. And it's, passions are high. Golf is it's a stressful sport, and it can be under those high intense pressures. And I think a little bit of both is out of order. I think a lot of the European players did have a word with LaCava, and LaCava should know better. I think he got caught up in this heat of the moment, and Rory, I don't know, could have been a little bit more tactful about it and had a word at the end of the match rather than being in the middle of the green. So it's 6 of one, half a dozen other. It's passion. I'd like to hear what people think. Message, email, leave some comments on the podcast, and I'll get back to you. Interesting that later on down the line he's having to go at Bones in the car park, and Shane Lowry's throwing him into a Mercedes to go back to the hotel. It's very interesting. It's crazy. But this is the kind of pressure we're under. These guys do this for a living, and the whole thing about Cantlay not wearing a hat because he's in some kind of protest. And, this Ryder Cup has been there's so much gone on, like social media wise, and rumours and this, that, and the other. Cantlay and Schauffele apparently, allegedly wanted paying to be in the Ryder Cup, and they've taken 3 or 4 weeks off, and, they've had the mysterious illness, whether it be some kind of sickness bug or COVID. We'll find out eventually, I think, but hey. But the fight that they had with them, I mean, McGinley said it on TV shortly after the incident, and he walked us through it a little bit, was that if the Americans had that kind of fight today, where was it, 24 hours prior? Because they looked dead and beat after about 6 holes Friday morning. So let me know what you think. I mean, I think Europe have got it in the bag. The only thing I don't want is for Luke Donald to go out and put Ram, Rory, Fleetwood, Rosie, all the Hovland, all the big guys that have had some big moments. I don't want him to front load that and then they start to get beat by a fired up American team. I want him to split that strategy. So I want him to send Rory first, then someone like Oberg, and then behind him send Hovland, and then behind him send, Bobby Mack, then send Ram, then send Fleetwood, then send Rosie. That's what I want him to do tomorrow. That would be the best strategy. Don't front load it and then make yourself look silly if something happens. But just give your team the opportunity to, we're down in this, we're up in that, we're down in this, we're up in that. We need 4 points out of 12. 1 in 3. We've seen crazy things happen. Look at Medina, what we did a few years back. But yeah, let me know what you think, what you guys thought about the whole Saturday at the Ryder Cup in 2023. So into my golf tip of the week, and this is something that kind of caused me to let one of my clients gently nudge them out the door, is the fact they're trying to smash it 100 miles an hour. They're trying to, I see it all the time. I've seen it quite a lot this year, is that a lot of YouTube videos are out there. They're feeding you with, you need to get turned. You need to turn into that backside so you can turn back through the ball. But the problem is with that, if you're a short person, turning up, you don't turn, you tend to lift up. So you're stretching away from the ball and you don't get back to it. And if you don't get back to the ball, what happens? You're blocking it right. Or then you start to flip your hands. So you flip your hands and now you're hooking it. So if you're in this situation where you're thinking, I need some more shoulder turn, I need to do this, I need to do that. No. What I want you to do is find a strike, swing shoulder to shoulder, and just add more speed. So get yourself on the range with your driver or your 5-iron or whatever the hell you're struggling to hit distance with. Especially if it's a long iron or a hybrid or your driver, I don't want you to be fully wrapping yourself into a big twisted knot to unleash that power, because you're probably leaking most of the power out. You're not closing the face and you're just seeing your slice or your hook get worse. I want you to find a good strike. So good strike means good ball speed and good efficiency. Once you've got good ball speed and good efficiency, then you start to deliver some more speed through the ball. And once you can control your strike, you can add the speed, which adds more distance. It's a simple calculated risk. So all I want you to do is long irons, hybrids, 3-woods, whatever, shoulder to shoulder, nice and smooth, find a good strike. And that shoulder to shoulder swing, once you've got that nailed and you're hitting fairways, add a little bit more speed. Then find out which side you're missing and aim at the other side and add the speed. And then see how much distance you get. That's simple. That's my golf tip of the week. Shoulder to shoulder, find a strike, and then add the speed. If you find your ball starts to curve one way or the other, aim down the opposite direction, and then add that speed in. And then see that you've added 10, 15, 20, 30 yards to your shots that are now going down the fairway, instead of adding 30, 40, 50, 60 yards to your shots, and you're never going to see that golf ball again. And that's the simplest tip you'll hear from me probably all year. And that's about it. Thank you very much. Thanks for listening to me whinge about my life and my clients and me giving up some money and possibly about nothing about the Ryder Cup. But I hope you find what you've listened to interesting, to share, like, subscribe, And if you do want to be part of the Members Day and you are listening to this and you have had a lesson from me, please text me back on the messages that you've been sent, and you can come and enjoy a round of golf, win some prizes, and with your fellow peers who've been seeing me throughout 2023. Thank you very much for listening. Have a great week. My name's been Michael Joshua. This is Failsafe Fitness Limited podcast. Signing off till next week. And before I do go, little caveat, next week will be the end of season 2. It'll be episode 30. If you've got any questions, I've pretty much got a full list as it is. But if there's anything anybody wants to know, nutrition, fitness, or golf wise, send them. failsafefitness@hotmail.com. Get those questions in. You've got less than a week to do it. And I'll be recording the finale to season 2, which is 5 questions of your questions answered. So the top 5 questions that come across my email. Most of them are pretty nailed in. It's going to take something special to change it. But send me your questions and I will certainly look at them. Have a great week. See you for the season 2 finale next week. Bye-bye.